Jason Greenblatt, great to be with you. You've just written a book called In the Path of Abraham. Tell us about it.
Sure. So what I decided to do is write the piece of history that I was privileged and blessed to participate in. It's who we were, what we learned, and why we did what we did. And as I watch everything unfold now, it's really almost on a week-by-week basis in terms of the news. I'm really glad I did it because so much of what I write about is the top of the news today, other than the U.S. economy, which is in tatters. But other than that, these issues have become more and more important by the week.
Yeah, part of the subtitle is that Joe Biden unmaking what you and many members of the Trump administration did. How are they unmaking what you did?
It's really more of a warning to him not to unmake it and how he could avoid unmaking it. But at the beginning, one example would be he and the administration didn't even want to use the words or the phrase Abraham Accords. That was just inappropriate. At some point, they picked up the ball on the Abraham Accords. They started using the name. And now I think they realize just how important and instrumental it is for security in the region, for the United States of America. And I hope they try to continue to build on it. It remains to be seen what they could build on it. But I think the biggest stumbling block for the region and for building on the Abraham Accords is Iran. We continue to negotiate with them in this weak fashion where they have delegates from other countries speaking on behalf of the United States of America. Generally, this Iranian regime is not only terrible for its people, but they can't be trusted. So I think one of the biggest warnings to the Biden administration is stop with Iran. Unless you could do a serious deal, and the prior deal certainly wasn't a serious deal, it was just kicking the can down the road. They should not be working with Iran in any way, shape, or form. And they should ally themselves with Israel and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the UAE and others in the region, although some of those countries themselves differ from the United States' approach to Iran. Mm-hmm. But they should sit everybody down and unify the region in their negotiating with Iran.
You know, those negotiations for the renewal of the JCPOA have been stalled for several weeks now. Do you think they will get restarted? It seems the main sticking point is the Biden administration won't remove the IRGC from the foreign terrorist organization.
Well, that was a good move on the Biden administration's part. I give them credit for that. It took them way too long for them to make that decision. But now that they've made the decision not to remove them from the terrorist list, that's a good sign. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but the fact that we haven't pulled the plug on the negotiations still is a telling sign that we need to be worried and we shouldn't give up being vocal about how dangerous it is. I hope that what they don't do is say, we're not removing them from the terrorist list, but we'll continue to negotiate a terrible deal. So we shouldn't take one as a signal to them that we accept the fact that they could go ahead and negotiate and sign something that would be a disaster for the region and ultimately a disaster for the United States.